I always try to read things I cannot utilize. It's the first time I'm actually filming a novel that I actually like. Hitchcock said you can only film bad novels. I actually think that's totally right. But in the case of Anna Segers, the writer of the original novel, that was completely different. I hate the people who want to do everything which just because they utilize is, people haven't read a book yet because they just read scripts. Even my kids at school don't have to read books. They read sort of segments and then they read, look at the pictures and a summary, and that was it. And I think especially in this particular film, or this film version, whether it is or isn't, it was the joy and comfort I derived from that book which I put onto film, much more than filming the book. People always quote the fathers of the basic code or the Constitution. You always think like Michelangelo type of bearded gentleman, but I think they've written the German Constitution on the basis of the same experience that Anna Segers made in Marseille, that people were stuck, couldn't go somewhere, weren't accepted, no country wanted them. They ended up in camps in the Pyrenees where they died most miserably or killed themselves like Walter Benjamin did. And that is the sort of experience which gave us our asylum article in the German Basic Code. And if we now see these droves of people coming to Germany, where people think this is like a storm reaching our shores, like this storm, whatever the storm was called, but we never thought we would reduce that asylum article, and I think you cannot, and that is my only political message on this. Me. Okay. I think that we can only live in the here and now. And if the story is written in the present time, we have the chance of rediscovering various things. But I can also say that as a film team, we come into the city, we're looking for wonderful places, light them up, and then go and tell a fictional story in this. And despite this translation to the here and now, our own experience has very little to do with the reality of those who fled. I think that was beautifully said. What I think was so brilliant about this story, about the script, is that this level of abstraction, we have a historical novel, but here we've created an interim level so that people become aware that, yes, migration movements have always existed and societies have reacted in a similar vein or differently. But because maybe it's not so topical, that we show exactly what we have today, the same type of migration, and we try to give an emotional understanding of this by having people follow a lead character. But we are leaving Germany, going to France, and from France to Mexico, and that creates this, what I call interim level. So you can see that, yes, history repeats itself, or social reception, and that we can learn a great deal if we look back occasionally. I would like to add something to that as well. Christian likes talking about ghosts when he talks about his characters. And there is one thing that ghosts all have in common. They've all fallen out of their own time, which has given them special abilities, but also certain things they cannot do, and a sense of suffering. And I think the German identity, fleeing Europe, and that combined to the situation where people now try to get to Europe, that at least creates the opportunity to recognize a political level in this film. Everybody has to see what that angle is for him and herself, but we can understand that Christian had something in mind when he did it like this.
When I wrote the script, when I had read the novel, I did not think of any actors at all. In the past, I used Nina or others, and I always thought of these characters when I wrote the script. And sometimes it's good if you don't know it in advance, because then you can do everything you want with the characters. But if you know that a certain person is going to perform in that particular role, it's a totally different ballgame. But, the character of Georg, performed by Franz, is something that I thought of out of breath with Paul Belmondo. In my mind, he was performing in that particular role, because I do think that the characters in these historical movements always look like Hans Busch. I wanted to have somebody play that character who has a certain feature to him, who knows how to dance and climb up the walls, but also has a certain sadness about him, like Georg. And then I watched the film Love Stakes, and I was totally enthusiastic about it. And then I didn't really dare to go for it, but then we met with Simone Bär. Both of us were very excited. I think we both smoked a packet of cigarettes each. And then we decided, well, let's do this film together, because otherwise it will turn out to be rather unhealthy. You know, and Franz is very smart, and it's really enjoyable. You know, some people say that actors are not supposed to be clever and smart, but I think the opposite is the case. We really learn to appreciate people who are very smart and clever.